Welcome back to the channel, guys. Now, today I wanted to make something clear about the high-speed MSP. Now, one thing I always wanted to know about this wheel is how fast it is. It's called the high-speed MSP for a reason. Initially, Gotway and Jason, Gotway released the wheel called the MSP, which a lot of us at the time thought it was going to be fast. I thought it was going to be fast because during that time I had the 84-volt MSX, and I was able to push that thing up to 40 miles an hour. I also cruised at 40 miles an hour for about a minute or so. I don't recommend you cruise at 40 miles an hour on the 84-volt MSX, but 45, 47, even 48 is a good enough speed if you're well under, I'd say, 220 pounds with gear. You can do it a little bit with more weight, but it's risky. Anyway, I always wanted to find out the top speed of this high-speed MSP. It seems that, the technology for EUCs is not really vastly different if you think about it. What really determines speed is the motor type, and apparently how much battery you have, right? And the type of battery configuration. Well, I don't know. It seems like the 84-volt MSX, even though it was 84 volts, had enough power in those batteries, the way it was configured, to hit 40 miles an hour, when a lot of people were saying the safe speed for that thing was like 35. And even that people were saying was scary. But having no issues at 40 miles an hour, what I did was I said, let's look at the free wheel spin. What is the free wheel spin? That was years ago. And then I attempted slowly but surely to get to a higher top speed past 35, past 36. The more I reached higher and higher speeds without forward pedal dip, that's when I realized, holy smokes, that might be a Gotway thing where, you lift the wheel, it's a certain free wheel spin. You can ride the wheel as fast as you can before the pedal starts to dip forward, and that will be your top speed. And it was true for the Gotway. It wasn't true for the Tesla. The Tesla was only able to push to 33 miles an hour. And I don't really remember what the free wheel spin was for the Tesla. So I really couldn't apply that same method to the Tesla. So success with the 84-volt MSX. 40 miles an hour, no big deal. MSP came out, 40 miles an hour, no big deal. In fact, it was about 1 mile per hour less than the 84-volt MSX. Shout out to David, who they call Jansen, because he had the MSP before I touched it, and he was able to hit close to 38, 39 miles per hour when he tested it, and that gave me the confidence to try it. He's a lot less than I am, but I wasn't looking at his weight. I was looking at the fact that you have the free wheel spin, subtract 5 to 10 miles per hour. But now, with the high-speed MSP, the specs on the high-speed MSP says 45 miles an hour. So the specs on the high-speed MSP says 45 miles an hour cruising speed. There's a difference, obviously, between cruising and top. Top speed is the absolute top speed you can hit, maybe with a 2 mile per hour buffer, and possibly cruise at that speed for a short period of time. Cruising speed, you're not worried about buffer. You're not worried about cutting out. It's just a beautiful, safe top speed that you can cruise at. Today, I was headed to, like I always do, I put a wheel in my car and headed to Quincy from Dorchester. And on my way back, I knew it was a beautiful day and I wanted to ride. So I rode and went on the beautiful stretch of road that I saw in front of me. And let's look at it right now. I just want to share with you something real quick. So this is what I achieved, 48.9 miles an hour. Now, someone else did tell me that Wrong Way was able to hit 52 miles an hour, but he crashed at 52 miles an hour. My goal is never to crash testing top speed. I crashed once, and the only reason I crashed was because my EUC World app was not connected when I thought it was. It was absolutely not connected, so I kept going. I heard no beeps. And it's funny because the dip I felt was a constant tilt forward. It wasn't an abrupt one. It was a constant one forward. And I was expecting my EUC World app to trigger, which it didn't because it wasn't connected. So I crashed. That was the only time I crashed testing top speed, and I don't ever want to repeat that, which is why I have this beautiful method that you can also follow. If you look here, you can see that my highest priority speed is 48. I know it's 48 because I know that, 47 miles an hour is not a big deal with the high-speed MSP. I've hit it before, not an issue, so I put it at medium because I expect it. On the EUC World app, there are two beeps. The first beep is an alert letting you know, hey, my medium priority alert has been triggered. So what I like to do is set the EUC World app with various speed priorities. The first I set is the high speed, which is 49 miles per hour. This is what I'm looking for. So the highest speed I set is a speed that I know the wheel will not cut out at, okay, provided you have good enough battery and you're not torquing the wheel. The free wheel spin for the high-speed MSP is 61 miles per hour, free wheel, okay, 100% battery. You subtract 10 miles per hour from that if you want to hit the absolute edge of the top speed, which is what I wanted to do because I'm aware that if I reach anything past that, the pedal is going to dip. I felt it before. It's not going to startle me, so I'm not worried about it. Now you have the medium priority, which is 47. I only set the 47 so that it can alert me with that initial beep on the EUC World app, because once I hear it, I know I'm close to that low priority, which is 48 miles an hour. I wasn't looking for 49, which is why I set 49. I was looking for 48. But what happens with these wheels is when you shoot for a certain speed, you end up overshooting. So setting the lowest priority to 48 was a safety margin for me. However, there is another feature called safety margin, and I really didn't know much about it. Shout out to Ronan on YouTube for teaching me about this a little bit. But basically, if you look here, this is proof that in the EUC World app, you can literally log in and find out exactly what happened. Okay, so the safety margin here was 0%. Now, I'm not sure if it's 0% because it's reaching the red zone or it's because I set it to 0. I always set my safety margin to 0 because I don't even understand how this thing works, and it keeps annoying me every time it beeps, so I just set it to 0. Maybe that's not something I should be doing. I'm going to learn a little bit more about safety margin. But anyway, what you see here is the GPS speed says 71.8 kilometers per hour. It was a clear day out, I think. It was not a lot of overcast. Right now there's overcast, but I can't say much about that. The EUC World app says 78.8 kilometers per hour. And let's see, the battery at that instant in time was 73%. Voltage was 88.2. Current was 42 amps. And the power pulled was 3,715 watts. So that wheel was doing a lot, but it really wasn't doing a lot, if you know what I mean. It was doing a lot safely, meaning I wasn't torquing the wheel. I was gradually accelerating. There was no hard torquing, and I never hard torque. When I say hard torque, I mean like literally like go crazy off the line or while I'm moving, because I did that once and it popped the capacitor. I don't intend to do that again. So that was encouraging, because when the beep went out in my head, I'm like, wow, no pedal dip, no pedal tilt, nothing. And a lot of people say, hey, this is really close to the edge because if you hit any bump, you're done. Well, that's not always true. Depending on your weight, depending on how you're torquing it, bumps are not going to make a difference. The road I was riding on was bumpy. I don't really care about bumps like that. But if you are riding near the edge, absolutely, and you don't have the right amount of, you're not equipped with the right amount of weight. So I weigh 217 with gear. If you weigh a lot more than that, then obviously it's going to be a problem. Plus you're torquing it, that's going to be an issue. So what we're looking at here, if I could zoom in, what we're looking at here is, can I move this? Okay. So right here, this is what's important. This right here is called the safety margin. So if you look right here, and Ronan pointed this out to me, otherwise I wouldn't have looked at that. I looked at graphs, but I never looked at the safety margin graph because I always go by my own instinct. But having your own methods of testing things plus technology helps a lot. So if you look here, everything is green. Everything's green, 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 green. And over here, I hit another top speed again, which is nice. I love doing that. Yellow is fine. Green is good. Red is good. But I'm not too concerned about this red because, again, I go based on the fact that it's a freewheel spin of 61 miles an hour, minus 10. You're in the safe zone, but you're in a safe zone. You know what I'm saying? So the guys are right. You want to be very careful at this very top edge of the safety margin. And it's 73% battery. I know it's battery because when you go over there, it says black is battery. So I'm at 73% battery. Voltage is probably a lot higher, maybe in the 90s. And that's what I love about my Gotways is that they never let you down, man. Like the battery management and how Gotway sets up their wheels is just bar none. There's no other company, not even, I can't say not even Sherman. I don't know if Sherman does that. I'll have to ride it hard to see how it operates. But it's a solid piece of engineering that they do. The way they build their wheels, if you know what you're doing, you can push this wheel to great limits, you know what I mean? Until you cut out, which is what I attempt to do. Not cut out, that is. So yeah, how fast is the high-speed MSP? It's fast. It's a very fast wheel. Now, Sean, when I was talking to him before I tested out the KS20 at the time, I am the KS20 killer. I'm gonna keep saying that because I killed it. You know, am I proud of it? Yes, because if you promote something a certain way and it doesn't perform, that leads them to make it better. And thanks to all the people that tested it before me and pushed it to their limit and then finally giving it to me, ended up blowing it up, made the S22. You guys are very welcome. So basically, he was telling me that he was riding once and he was able to hit 47 miles an hour on the KS20. I would have loved to test that out. It didn't happen. But the fact that he was able to do that made sense to me because it's a 2200 watt watt-hour battery with a 3000 something watt motor. It makes sense. Torquing it at that speed, no, not a good idea. I don't think it's not the same type of speed you would get from a Gotway. Okay, you would have to gradually go there. And what's amazing about the high-speed MSP is that I did this in medium mode. This was shocking to me. My pedals are tilted back about 4.8 degrees backwards on the high-speed MSP, but about 3 degrees backwards on the torque MSP. But what I'm excited about is the fact that this wheel, such an old machine, and it's really not that old, but in the world of EUCs, it is pretty old, was able to achieve a speed of 49 miles an hour. Okay, for all intents and purposes, 48.9 is 49 miles an hour. With wrong way crashing at 52, which I will never attempt. I won't attempt to hit 52. I will attempt to solidly hit 50, possibly just solid. That way I can dial it back. So let me answer this last question that you didn't ask. The reason I try to hit top speeds before cutout is so that I can dial back what is safe for me. So if I know a wheel does 40, for example, the 84 volt MSX I was mentioning, the New Yorkers did not believe it could do 40 miles an hour. In fact, they clowned me for it, but that's okay. I'm a beautiful clown. And so I tested that wheel. It does 40. So what do? I don't ride at 40, but if I do reach 40, I'm aware of what that feels like. So I'll dial it back maybe 2 miles per hour so that I know I'm in a good safe zone. Now with my new knowledge about safety margin, I want to test every wheel now because seeing this is very encouraging, man. Like green, 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 yellow, red. I mean, that's crazy. That's what you want to see. Shout out to EUC World, man. The guy who made EUC World, shout out to you, man. Because now you've added a new dimension to my methods of testing wheels where you increase my possibility of success and you absolutely decrease my possibility of failure. I love this app. This app is amazing. It's like a virtual helmet. EUC World is a virtual helmet. I hope you'll remember that. So I just wanted to say that, guys, because I was excited. I was like, wow, because I already created a video on DRE. Please check out DRE, my other channel, Daily Ridden EUCs. And I did a video on it, and I only reached 46 miles an hour, only because, I don't know, the traffic, and I hit 46. But the point was I was trying to hit the top speed on video, and I couldn't do it. This always happens when I'm not testing. I hate testing wheels for top speed because you have the camera, you have so many distractions. You know what I mean? But now that I know, that this is not a big deal for real, with so many factors coming together to kind of solidify that truth, I'm a lot more confident about this beautiful machine right now. Oh my goodness. The high-speed MSP. What an old wheel that it's able to keep up with so many new wheels. So you understand, the fastest wheel right now that we know of is the Gotway Master, the Bigote Master. When Alien Rides tested it, he tested the wheel beeping at 44 miles an hour. That's impressive. I'm not sure at what point this thing, the high-speed MSP, beeps, because the speaker I have is terrible. Not the speaker, but the buzzer is terrible, so I really can't figure that out. But I'll have to replace it. But considering that, and now this wheel hitting pretty much 48, 49, 50 miles an hour, no big deal. The EXN is about 50-something plus miles an hour. I hit 48 on the EXN. No issues whatsoever, like 0 issues. Maybe I'll have to look at the safety margin chart for that one. If it's still in green, then we're good. So simple. When you look at the safety margin chart, if you're in the green after hitting 48 miles an hour on your wheel, you're good. Keep going. Just don't torque. Be very careful. If it's not a torque wheel, don't torque it at a high rate of speed. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to say that. How fast is the high-speed MSV? It's a fast wheel. Upwards of 48 to 50 miles an hour, depending on your weight. I'm 217 with gear and everything. And I did this in medium mode. Okay, so, and it was a flat terrain, but there were some inclines and declines. Temperature was about 70, I think 69. Temperature was around 69. I can't tell in here. I don't think this thing tells outside temperature. But yeah, this was very impressive today. And for all of you out there with your high-speed MSPs, guys, you don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to, try to prove, hey, I need a new wheel. The only issue with the high-speed MSP, I've always said, is the battery. And hopefully in the future, we'll have a solution for that because it has the right size. That's what I love about it. The size is perfect. It's portable. You carry it. It's beautiful. So now I'm curious to see how the RS does, the RS high speed. That would be very interesting. Anyway, guys, have an awesome day. I just wanted to share this news with you because I'm excited. Shout out to Ronan. Shout out to a bunch of other people. See you in the next one. Happy riding.